So listen, I'm honored to be here, and I'm really thrilled to be part of the governor's economic team. I am very bullish on the long-term prospects of the state, and I did want to offer up a few of my initial views based on my 7 or so weeks in the job. So still a work in progress, but really feel like there's a tremendous opportunity here for this state and make sure that we get on the right track. So I actually was just confirmed last week, even though this is week 7 for me in the job, but I've been on the road a fair bit, meeting with business leaders, community leaders, really everyone that has a hand in economic development for the state, because I am a big believer and I share the governor's philosophy. For us to get the state on the right track, we all need to work together and we need to work collaboratively. Otherwise, we are not going to be successful. So maybe just a few words on my initial impressions of the state. So this is a tremendous state with a lot of potential, as I mentioned. We have top-flight talent in terms of the workforce, obviously world-renowned colleges and universities in the state, innovative companies with tremendous entrepreneurial networks that are starting to pop up in the state, as well as dynamic supply chains, just to name a few here. But we must improve our economic development and our performance. The last 10 years, as the governor mentioned, that's just not acceptable to anyone in this room, and it's not going to be acceptable for our long-term prosperity as a state. Some of my priorities, based on my initial conversations and my initial work, first and foremost is to continue to transform our urban centers into true engines of growth. I mean, Norwalk has been spectacular, but I think we need to have cities that are dynamic and vibrant and candidly larger in population to compete with, we're never going to go head-to-head with New York or a Boston or a San Francisco, but it's clear to me that millennials and this trend towards urbanization is going to continue, and when our largest city is 130 or 150,000 people, we're just really not competing. So really making sure we have those dynamic, vibrant communities is really, really important. Secondly, I want to better utilize the state's many amazing colleges and universities. We have lots of top college graduates in the state, but unfortunately many of them leave the state, and we want to make sure that those university graduates feel vested and want to stay in the state to work and to raise families. Thirdly, the governor mentioned opportunity zones. I think that is a tremendous opportunity for the state and something that I'm going to spend a lot of time with, making sure that we have the right real estate investments and other investments in our cities and in urban areas, and using the opportunity zones to leverage that's going to be really important. Last two things I would mention are, one, I think the economy of tomorrow, more tech savvy, more focused on STEM, that's going to be really important. We need to make long-term investments and have a long-term plan there. And STEM is an area that all states are very focused on. No one has the significant amount of graduates that are ready to take on those jobs, Connecticut as well. But we need to make sure that we're investing in STEM workforce development and working with our universities to that end. I think let me stop there in terms of initiatives for now. These are just a few pieces to this puzzle. Bigger picture, I'm a big believer that we need to create an environment that is conducive to business, where people want to make investments, they want to innovate, they want to encourage risk-taking, and fiscal stability is a big part of that. If the government is not putting forth fiscal stability, people aren't going to make those investments. And my view is that is one of the issues that the state's had over the past 10 years. So working with the governor and the legislature to make sure that we have fiscal stability and we have a long-term plan on that is going to be important. And it's not easy, but it's imperative to our success. Otherwise, we won't have those investments. Two last things. First, DCD in particular has actually been a great partner with Norwalk based on all the everything that I've seen. So one of the programs we have is Small Business Express, which has been around since 2012. We've worked with 65 companies in the Norwalk area to provide loans and assistance through this Small Business Express program, and we look forward to expanding relationships like that in the years to come. And lastly, I don't know many in the room, but I mentioned at the outset I share the governor's philosophy. I definitely want to get feedback, and please call me, email me. Certainly, open communication is really important in this process, especially if there's stuff that you see in Hartford that I'm doing or others are doing that you guys don't like or that you don't think is appropriate. I definitely want to get the critical feedback, and I really welcome that. So with that, I'll stop, and I appreciate you guys having me here tonight. Thank you.